Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 30th of October, now it's 15 to 10 in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my first update for the day in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. Second update will be a little bit late in the evening on my Patreon page, in which I will share additional news that will be reported by Russian media. That being said, let's talk about news now, and today I will start with the Dagestan Autonomous Republic of Russian Federation, because yesterday afternoon and evening some very disturbing developments did take place in this republic, especially in Makhachkala, capital of Dagestan, and I will share with you some history of what happened, not just yesterday but several days before that. So since the beginning of escalation in the Middle East, by the way, between Palestine and Israel, Ukraine's secret services and secret services of the UK and the US, especially UK, did become extremely active with their assets that are operating some groups on social media, and they were actively using this figure, this criminal individual, Ilya Ponomarev, who is unfortunately used to be MP in Russia, by the way, and probably he still holds citizenship of Russia, and he is in Ukraine now. He's a typical traitor and a banderite and asset of Ukraine secret services and the Western secret services. And this criminal individual and his criminal gang or terrorist group are operating with many channels on social media. And as I said, since the beginning of escalation in the Middle East, this individual and his terrorist group did begin provoking residents of several autonomous republics in the North Caucasus region to conduct some demonstrations, some protests, and so on against Israeli policies, formally against Israeli policies. And the main goal for them was to destabilize these regions, of course. And during the previous days, in several republics in the North Caucasus, there were small scale of some protest movements, but local government and administration dealt with the situation quite rapidly. But yesterday, these terrorists that are operating from Ukraine did begin destabilizing situation in Dagestan from early morning. And one of the channels of this terrorist, by the way, Ilya Ponomarev, called Good Morning Dagestan. And through that page and some other sources that they are using, they were spread of fake news. They were calling for protest movements, protest actions, demonstrations, and so on. And several hundred people did believe them. Unfortunately, several hundred people, 500-600 individuals, fell to this fake news, this propaganda of Russian enemies. And they did begin this demonstration, which is supposed to be peaceful against Israeli policies towards Gaza Strip. But as a result of activity of these channels, terrorist channels on different platforms on internet, and the local provocateurs on the ground, by the way, who probably has some ties with the terrorist organizations in Ukraine, and maybe not just in Ukraine. This supposed to be peaceful demonstration quickly turned into anti-Jewish riots. And this angry mob was directed towards Makhachkala airport. And by the way, I remind you that in the Northern Caucasus region, with the exception of North Ossetia, Alania, all the other republics are Muslim, majority Muslim republics, Dagestan included. And this angry mob went in the direction of Makhachkala airport because someone spread this fake information that plane arrived from Tel Aviv, which turned out to be fake, although later on there were some reports that there was plane from Dubai and plane from Tel Aviv. It don't really matters. Fact is that this angry mob went in the direction of Makhachkala airport. They break through airport building, and then they break through runway of airport, endangering lives of hundreds and hundreds of civilians. And at least on one board that I see videos of, dozens of people end up being hostages of this angry mob, because they were unable to leave plane. And on the plane there were kids, there were elderly people. On the board of this plane were people that needed medical assistance, and unfortunately ambulance could not get through this plane, according to videos that I see. So for several hours these people on the board of at least one plane end up being hostages of this very disturbing situation and this angry mob. Well, initially local police, local security force in the airport was unable to stop this aggressive mob, and the riot police was called in. And after that, after riot police arrived, in several hours time, situation did become under control. But yet again, very disturbing, of course. And I did share informations about this stuff on my Telegram yesterday. And well, what can I say? By the way, it's very disturbing what happened in Dagestan. Even if a plane arrived from Tel Aviv, and what this people, this angry mob, was planning to do if they find the Jewish people in those planes or in the airport. And they did harass, by the way, many people in the airport. And I'm quite sure investigation will, reveal all the individuals that were conducting this criminal activity, and they will face justice, no doubt about that. But what this angry mob would do if there was a plane from Tel Aviv with Jewish people that fled Israel for time being and arrived in Dagestan. And I remind you, by the way, Dagestan is multi-ethnic and multi-confessional society. And in the Derbent city of Dagestan, there was quite a large Jewish diaspora, the Jewish community during the Soviet era. And what if those people did decide to return to their homeland, to the land that they were born? What this angry mob will do in that case? So very disturbing situation, very disturbing situation. What happened in Dagestan, in Makhachkala, is a shame for Dagestan. It's a shame for Russia. And unfortunately, Kiev terrorist regime and Western masters of that regime will of course use this very unfortunate situation for their propaganda to even more demonize Russia. Although this type of actions are absolutely not typical for Russia, not for Caucasus republics, not for any other region of Russian Federation. It's just not typical behavior of any society in any of the regions of Russia. Very unfortunate developments, by the way. But as I said, as riot police was deployed to airports, situation did become in few hours time under control. Several policemen were injured and several rioters, according to reports that I see. And RT here, by the way, also reporting that anti-Jewish rioters detained in Russian Muslim majority region in Dagestan. And I just shared on my Telegram latest information that 60 rioters were detained at this moment. But I believe this number will definitely grow, because on the airfield, by the way, according to videos that I see, there were hundreds of these rioters, and all of them basically conducted criminal act. One may even say they did conduct a terrorist act, because dozens and dozens of people in the planes did end up as hostages for several hours, and their life was in danger. Lives of hundreds of people were endangered by this illegal activity of these rioters. And I would not be surprised if many of them will be charged with terrorism, for terrorist activity. And head of Dagestan Republic did made a statement, Sergei Melikov, and he said that these rioters basically are traitors of republic and traitors of country. Their activity definitely will be used against Russia, for sure. And what can be done at least now? Russian security forces have to work even more actively to make sure that this type of provocations will not take place. People on the ground supposed to get better information, better awareness about activities of foreign secret services, not to become a blind weapon in the hands of enemies of Russia. But what is done definitely needs to be answered, and I believe many of these rioters will be charged for very serious crimes, because what happened in Dagestan, in Makhachkala yesterday, is a very serious crime and cannot be forgiven. Absolutely. And dear friends, also RIA Novosti is reporting that Congress of Jewish people of Russia did made a statement about these developments in Dagestan, and they said that this type of behavior definitely is not typical for Russia, for any of the regions of Russian Federation, and it's sad to see this type of stuff happening here. And Congress did call for all people of Russia to maintain calm and respect towards each other, because Russia is a multi-ethnic and multi-confessional, multicultural, historically multicultural state, and we cannot allow this kind of behavior to take place. We should be more careful in our actions, which is absolutely correct. And by the way, leadership of Russian Muslim community also made statements yesterday and did call not just on federal level, but also local leaders of Muslim community in Dagestan did call for rioters to stop their behavior, and they did call them, and they did stated that this is not the way that Muslim community should ever act anywhere. And situation is under full control at this point. Today, maybe Putin will make comment about this situation, or maybe some other high-ranking officials on federal level, and of course I will share information about it on my on my Telegram and in the second update, but well, unfortunately, this type of action did take place in Dagestan, and it's definitely a shame. It's definitely a shame. It should never happen. You can criticize policies of Israeli government as much as you like, all day long, every day, but there is no way you can act as some xenophobe and anti-Jewish element and call for some actions against Jewish people. This is crime. You cannot act this way in civilized country, and I mean, people who did participate in these riots will have to answer for their actions, and they will. I definitely did not expect this, man. It was truly disturbing to see this kind of behavior. This is not the way that people in Caucasus region or any other region of Russia should ever act. But at this point, situation is under control, and I believe security services will do their best to make sure that these foreign secret services would not be able to provoke such actions in the future and to destabilize any of the region of Russian Federation. There is work to be done in this direction for sure. Anyway, let's continue now with some other news. And well, RT is also reporting that this morning Russian Navy intercept Ukrainian sea drones near Crimea. So several unmanned speedboats attempted to target Crimea in the area of Sevastopol Bay at around 4 a.m. local time, but were detected and neutralized by Black Sea Fleet forces, according to Defense Ministry of Russian Federation. And some more information. On October 30, at about 4 a.m. Moscow time, 2 unmanned boats of Ukrainian Navy were detected in the Black Sea, the Russian military said in the statement on Monday morning, adding that Russian Navy vessels conducted anti-mine and anti-sabotage measures and inflicted fire damage on the sea drones without providing any further details. Well, I guess both drones were destroyed, and no damage was done to Russian assets during the day. Maybe the defense minister will provide some additional news, and of course I will share that information on my Telegram page and in the second update. So TASS news agency, by the way, is reporting that Defense Minister of Russian Federation Sergei Shoigu arrived in Beijing with working visit, and he will participate in the conference about security conference that will take place in China these days. And I'm quite sure Sergei Shoigu will have some negotiations with the new leadership of Chinese Defense Ministry. I remind you that a few days ago it became known that, or officially confirmed, that China will have a new defense ministry. Former defense minister was fired. And rumors, if you remember, about firing of former defense minister of China did begin almost straight away after his last visit to Russia. And maybe, you know, I was thinking straight away when I hear about these rumors that he was fired, I was thinking maybe negotiations did not went too well during visit of that Chinese defense minister, and probably a leader of China was not happy with the results, and I guess new defense minister of China will be more pragmatic or more work capable, let's see this way, because I guess Moscow was not happy with the results of negotiations, and that's why former former defense minister of China, was fired. This is my guess, by the way, but timeline is quite suspicious, isn't it? So if my understanding is correct, then we may see significant increase in cooperation between militaries of two countries in coming months. Let's see. Also, by the way, TASS news agency is reporting that fail of Ukrainian counteroffensive did become yet another reason for friction between Zelensky and Ukraine's former President Zelensky and head of General Staff Zaluzhny, according to Times. And well, it's interesting, according to Sunday Times, by the way, and it's interesting that this topic of confrontation of Zelensky and Zaluzhny yet again have been brought up by Western media. Usually it's Western media that are articulating with this confrontation between the two, and I wonder why this time. What's going on? Maybe after all, Zaluzhny will be removed from his duties, and everything will be blamed on him, including failed counteroffensive. Is that what's gonna happen? Or maybe Zaluzhny and Ukraine's militaries will try to remove Zelensky. Let's see, we will find out soon. But it's interesting that Western media once again beginning to articulate with topic of increased tensions between Zelensky and Zaluzhny. And of course, one more major topic of news worldwide is escalation in the Middle East. And TASS news agency is reporting that Israel will allow on daily basis 100 trucks with humanitarian aid to pass through checkpoint between Gaza and Egypt to deliver some aid for residents of Gaza. Well, 100 trucks, it's better than 15 and 20 that we'd see in previous days, but definitely not enough because according to some reports, before escalation, hundreds of trucks were moving into Gaza with supplies on daily basis, hundreds. But at least this is improvement. At least this is improvement, which is good. And as we all know, dozens and dozens of countries are sending aid into Egypt so that this aid, this humanitarian aid, will be delivered to residents of Gaza Strip. And also TASS news agency is reporting that the Israeli government did made the decision to open second pipeline, water pipeline, towards Gaza Strip, which will allow Gaza to receive some 28.5 million liters of water, which is also a good development. But yet again, in this case, question is rising: are the electricity in the Gaza? Will Gaza residents be able to receive this water? Pipeline may be open, but if pumps are not working on the Gaza Strip, then water supply gonna be disrupted immensely. But move itself that Israel is beginning to ease these restrictions are good. Although this type of restriction should never be in place in the first place. And also, by the way, there are some reports that communication did return to Gaza Strip, including internet, although I didn't see any confirmation of this information yet. And according to some reports, electricity in some regions of Gaza, Israel is beginning to deliver electricity also. But yet again, after such a heavy bombing, one may wonder in what conditions this infrastructure, energy infrastructure, is. But anyway, let's continue. TASS news agency is reporting that Israeli army made statements that they are further increasing scale of ground operation in the Gaza Strip. Although at this point we are not talking about large-scale ground operation. This is still reckoning force operations, in my understanding, and some Israeli units are holding to some positions, especially in the northern sectors of the front line. And there were reports on many media outlets and the channels that these local scale skirmishes are taking place between Israeli forces and Hamas on several directions in the northern Gaza. TASS news agencies also reporting that Israeli Air Force did strike Syria once again in Daraa province. And according to information, several targets of Syrian army, by the way, was struck by Israeli Air Force. I believe Tel Aviv will come out with the explanation that they did targeted some Iran-backed groups, but according to this report, which is based on Sana news agency's information, in reality, Israeli side did targeted positions of Syrian Arab army. Why? Why? Well, Syria did undergo through so many difficulties, by the way, for many years now. And still Israel is targeting this country, man. It's unbelievable. TASS news agency is also reporting that simultaneously Israel did targeted 3 areas, or Israeli Air Force did conducted 3 strikes on southern Lebanon, where Hezbollah is Lebanese Hezbollah is holding positions yet again. Israel will of course say that this was a retaliatory strike, and after this strike Hezbollah will of course target some Israeli positions, and this will continue as long as one of the sides will just don't stop reacting. But yet again, for Israel it's quite easy to provoke Hezbollah, because if they are targeting positions of Hezbollah, what they gonna do? What they gonna do? Just ignore it? And after all, not just me but many other commentators on internet, and not just commentators but some experts, by the way, and big names, are also now openly talking about possibility that this escalation between Israel and Palestine may engulf entire region, and it may begin with the provocation of full-scale confrontation between Hezbollah and Israel. That's why when I see this type of information that there are some military confrontation between, even if it's a small scale, between Israel and Hezbollah, I did see these informations as an indicator that unfortunately things may escalate even further than it is now in the region. Our situation may escalate. RIA Novosti is reporting that according to Western media, by the way, in this case Washington Post, US did influence Israeli government to renew communication, to allow communication into Gaza Strip, first of all for humanitarian reasons. And as I said, at this point Gaza is supposed to have access to internet and phone communication, at least partially, but yet again, maybe US did play its role, maybe, but I find it very difficult to trust a single word that coming from Biden's administration, really. They never act based on some humanitarian principles. Never. So probably something else is going on. And also TASS is reporting that US government is expecting further escalation of conflict between Israel and Palestine, and according to Axios, by the way, US government is preparing that this conflict will engulf entire region. And of course they are preparing for this. We all see this preparations and deployment of more and more military assets towards Middle East, not just by US but also by UK, Germany, some other NATO member states. And of course they know that this conflict will probably escalate further, because they are the side that will provoke this further escalation. So of course they know what they are planning and what they're gonna do. So no surprises here, isn't it? I mean, world community, before it's not too late, world community, if it's even possible, should become even more active, to prevent further escalation of this conflict, because if entire region will be destabilized, it will devastate entire world. If anybody thinks that this destabilization will hurt only countries in Middle East, I mean, this is a big mistake. Middle East is an extremely important region, and the destabilization of that region will definitely hurt entire world. It will be felt all around the world, 100%. TASS news agency is reporting. After all, by the way, some truly big names in political commentary and analytics are now practically openly are talking about risks that further escalation in Middle East may provoke even a third world war. I am not that skeptical, although I was saying from very beginning of this escalation that things may go significant. I was saying from the very beginning that main goal of Israeli government or Netanyahu's government is probably to implement Karabakh scenario in the Gaza Strip and possibly even West Bank. But at this point, we see destabilization and conflict in the Gaza Strip. And if that's the case, then Israeli government will try to remove all the local residents one way or another from Gaza Strip. And unfortunately, of course, there is a risk that this confrontation can be used by Western so-called elites to engulf entire region in confrontation, especially to cut off navigation in the Persian Gulf and cut China from energy sources of Middle East. And dear friends, yesterday during the live stream on my channel, one member of our community did during the live stream, or maybe in the comment section on yesterday's update, one of the members of our community did write that US will not even try. I'm paraphrasing now. US will probably not try to cut China off energy sources of Middle East, because it will hurt economical disturbances in China, will hurt significantly US also, because of this entanglement of economies of two countries. And I would agree with this, because this approach is very logical, and I would agree with this if I was thinking that government of US does cares about US citizens, ordinary US citizens. Because any disturbances and difficulties in Chinese economy will, first of all, have a significant impact on inflation isn't it? Because there will be some shortages of production or of goods. And who's gonna suffer mainly from shortages and from inflation? Ordinary citizens, isn't it? And do we have a even slight indicator that Biden or his administration ever cared about ordinary citizens of US? No, it never happened. It will never happen. And that's why I think it's highly likely that Western so-called elites will use their assets to further escalate on Middle East and cut shipping in the distract shipping in the Persian Gulf, so that China will lose access to oil and gas fields of this region. And by the way, I remind you that from Persian Gulf through Hormuz Strait here, on daily basis are exported 15 to 17 million barrels of oil every single day. I did check, and there are different numbers on internet, but it's definitely 15 to 17, around 15 to 17 million barrels of oil a day. And if this shipping route is distracted, no way other oil exporter states will be able to fulfill this gap, this deficit that will emerge on the oil market. It's just too big of a volume. And this type of development will definitely hurt China. And that's the main goal for Western so-called elites. Because, they see China and global South, by the way, as a main danger for their dominance over the world. But anyway, let's continue with news. I did spoke about this topic quite a few times before, and so TASS news agency is reporting that yet another military asset of US will enter Mediterranean in coming days. This time it's USS Bataan, which is a large amphibious ship with and on board of that ship is 26 expeditionary corpus, which accounts for more than 2,000 Marines, by the way. And this ship currently is in Red Sea. Here, by the way, this ship currently in the Red Sea, somewhere here, and in fairly short time, this ship will enter Suez Channel and will eventually arrive on the shores of Israel. Question is, why so many military assets in this region if so-called elites of the West are not preparing further escalation, not planning to provoke further escalation in the region? Anyway, let's continue. RIA Novosti is reporting that according to Western media, Jake Sullivan, by the way, advisor on national security for Joe Biden, did stated during the interview on ABC TV channel that Washington is demanding from Israeli government US weapons that have been supplied to Israel to be used with accordance to rules of military engagement. Yet again, quite understandable statement. What else do you expect? But we all see how Israeli forces are operating. And I don't think they really care which weapons they are using to carpet bomb or to destroy everything they see. So formally US will always say that, you know what, we did deliver weapons, but and we demanded that this weapon should be used with all the rules of engagement and according to some treaties and so on. But in reality, we all know that government of Netanyahu don't really cares about any rules of engagement. They are basically leveling entire Gaza Strip with their strikes. RIA Novosti is also reporting, and this is quite interesting, by the way, about several news topics. I did spoke during the yesterday's live stream, and this information is one of them. So British Telegram, observer of British Telegram, Tim Stanley, did put out article, by the way, in which he called a bunch of clowns a leadership of US, which is quite unusual for Telegraph, quite unusual for any Western media outlets, so-called media outlets, especially Telegraph. Well, according to Tim Stanley, if we combine inadequacy of Biden, political prosecution or prosecution of Trump, this process, constant process to prosecute Trump, irrational activity of Democratic Party, and unwillingness of Republicans to to compromise on anything, definitely indicates that current world order that Western world operates with and wants to maintain is failing, which is quite interesting. To see, by the way, from Western analyst, from representative Western media outlet, because well, usually they are much more optimistic, isn't it? And they never criticize almost anything that Western so-called governments are doing. But I don't know what happened with this person, Tim Stanley, but he did come up with such a statement, and it's correct, by the way, like it or not. But era of dominance of Western ruling class that did continue for several centuries, by the way, is ending, and that's why they are acting extremely crazy. And that's why they are extremely dangerous also. Let's continue. How long is this update? 43 minutes. Okay, I will go through headlines at least, because there is several more interesting news that I like to share in this update. So RT is reporting that new German Peace Party, already third most popular according to polls. That's quite interesting. So new German political party, the brainchild of prominent left party MP Sarah Wagenknecht. I'm butchering her surname, quite sure, but I'm sorry about that. But Sarah Wagenknecht, and which is yet to take a form. So this party is still forming. Has already overtaken member of the ruling coalition government. A poll commissioned by the Bild Sonntag media outlet has indicated. Wagenknecht is a vocal critic. This woman, by the way, Wagenknecht is a vocal critic of Chancellor Olaf Scholz's cabinet and its policies regarding the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. In a report on Sunday, Bild Sonntag cited two surveys conducted over the course of the week, one which features the so far nameless organization and another that does not. The media outlet attempted to deduce which exciting parties will lose supporters to their would-be rival. Wagenknecht announced her plans at the press conference on Monday, saying that she expects the new party to officially come into being in early 2024. So, as I understand, this party is not even exists, but there are some plans, and this individual and her comrades, I guess, are gathering together and to create this party. And according to some polls, even though party is not exists for this moment, I guess these people themselves have such support that polls are indicating that this new party will already overcome several major parties in the Germany. And as I understand, one of those parties gonna be Greens. So, however, according to one of the polls mentioned above, around 40% of Germans will already vote for the party, this new party, putting it in fourth place. Scholz's Social Democratic Party is just 1 percentage point ahead, while the other two members of the ruling coalition, the Green Party and the Free Democrats, lag behind Wagenknecht's dark horse with 12 and 5% respectively. Dear friends, I cannot even imagine that party which has 15% of support, 12% of support, and 5% of support, and this is current coalition of in Germany, ruling coalition. I cannot believe that parties with such a small percentage are even allowed to run country, because they are destroying Germany and they don't even have a popular support in the country, man. What's going on in Germany, man? Who create these crazy rules, man? Party with 5% of support gonna ruin Germany and with 12% support. Unbelievable, though. If you call this democracy, man, then I don't need that kind of democracy, for sure. No, man. Rinost is reporting that Medvedev did made statement, by the way. This is anarchy, by the way. This is anarchy, this is chaos, this is definitely not democracy as I see it, because if we are talking about democracy, at least majority of society is supposed to be in support of party. Majority. Not 5% and 10%, majority. And that way we can say that yes, this party represents political or any other aspirations of majority of people in this country. Anyway, let's continue. Rianost is these so-called elections, by the way, especially in the Western world, anyway, are just a circus, isn't it? Just a circus, man. This ruling class, or true ruling class in Europe, puts up their puppets under the name of with different parties with different names, and lets people choose from these puppets, and whoever is chosen, true rulers of the Western world, are winning, and people, ordinary people, are losing. And that's why I think is this individual, by the way, Wagenknecht, is truly independent and truly wants to work for German society. Unfortunately, she will be tanked. System will not allow her to, and her comrades, to become a main political power in Germany. Unfortunately, that's how I think system is created and ruled in the Western states, Germany included. But anyway, RIA Novosti is reporting that former Russian president and current deputy chairman of Security Council did made statement about EU's reputation, and well, according to Medvedev, EU lost all of its reputation, all of its respect worldwide, and no way can be received as or can be seen as a mediator, objective mediator in any conflict. Which is true, by the way, which is true. There are many calls to Brussels to kind of act as a mediator in this escalation in the Middle East, but it's impossible, isn't it? And Medvedev is absolutely correct, because Ursula, this Michel, and this formal head of EU diplomacy, Borrell, they already stated that they are in support of Netanyahu's government, in full support. So how they gonna mediate? What they gonna do? And why Palestinians should even listen to those people? I mean, how they gonna take EU bureaucracy as a objective mediator that truly wants peace to be established? Impossible. So I mean, like it or not, but Medvedev is absolutely correct. EU bureaucracy 100% lost credibility worldwide, including in EU states, by the way. I'm quite sure well-informed part of societies in EU member states are probably, I mean, extremely angry that this type of individuals are representing Europe on the world stage. Anyway, let's continue. RT is reporting that Foreign Minister of Hungary did make statements that there is no point in further EU sanctions against Russia, which is absolutely correct. Some other sanctions should never been put on Russia. So Budapest will not support Brussels' next round of sanctions on Moscow if it touches measures against Russian energy sector. Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó said in the interview with RIA Novosti published on Saturday. According to Szijjártó, any restrictions on Russian energy would run counter to Hungary's national interests. I can tell you for sure, if the next package contains something that contradicts our national interests, we will definitely not agree to its adoption. The red line for us obviously concerns energy, gas, oil, nuclear energy, and any other aspects which could harm our nation's economy. Well, absolutely understandable statement. I said many times before, I mean, I see Hungary's government as a prime example how proper government should act and should protect interests of its citizens and its state itself. And well, many of us probably are surprised how long leadership of Hungary is withstanding pressure from Brussels. I mean, they are doing quite okay in this regard. And when it comes to sanctions itself, at this point, I don't think anybody in Russia cares about any sanctions from Western so-called elites whatsoever. They can sanction anything they want. I mean, no one cares here, you know. So let's continue. TASS news agency is reporting that Chancellor of Germany Olaf Scholz did make statements that Germany is interested in receiving gas from Niger. Niger is one of the major gas exporter states, as I understand. And well, he expressed he stated that Germany energy companies will like to establish closer ties with the companies in Nigeria, to export gas from there. But yet again, what is interesting, by the way, why Scholz and his associates put Germany in such a difficult position when they are now running all around the world and looking for gas, when they had perfect opportunity to receive cheap pipeline gas from Russia and maintain leadership in Europe as a major economy. Why they did it to Germany, man? I don't know. Dear friends, this information is also interesting because maybe government of Germany knows something about further escalation in the Middle East, and maybe they are afraid that there will be destruction of shipping in the Persian Gulf, and in that case Qatar, by the way, would not be able to export its LNG. And if that's the case, and Germany is of course one of the buyers of Qatar's LNG, and if in that case, of course, they will need some other sources of gas, and possibly that's why Scholz did spoke about partnership of Germany's energo companies and Nigeria's energo companies. That's a possibility. And also news, by the way, RT is reporting that Kiev won't extend the gas transit deal with Moscow, according to Naftogaz statement. Naftogaz, by the way, is a operator of Ukraine's gas transporting system, through which Russia is still exporting gas to Europe, and Ukraine receiving billions and billions from Russia as a transit fee. But it seems like, for whatever reason, Kiev don't want this money no more. They prefer money from US taxpayers and EU taxpayers, let's see how it will go. Let's see. A current contract, by the way, between Moscow and Kiev, or between Gazprom and Naftogaz, will expire on 2024. In 2024, and I think in 2025 there will be very different situation on the ground in Ukraine and in modern Ukraine, and probably there will be no Ukraine as a state at all. So very different contracts will be signed between very different players on energo market. RT is also reporting that Russian forex reserves are growing. Holdings rose by 3.6 billion in 1 week. That's official data. So let me give you some numbers. Russia has continued to boost its foreign currency reserves, which stood at 569.6 billion as of October 20. The central bank reported this week. So that's a quite significant reserve for any country, really. 569.6 billion, isn't it? And according to regulator, the volume of international reserves increased by 3.6 billion or 0.6% in the week from October 13, largely due to positive market revolution. The stockpile reached historic high of 643.2 billion on February 18, 2022. However, roughly half of the holdings were frozen by Western Central Bank in 2022. By the way, roughly half of these reserves were frozen by Western central banks as a part of Ukraine-related sanctions. In addition to freezing the funds, Western countries banned operations related to their management. The remaining assets consisting of gold and foreign currency, as well as Chinese yuan, are held within the country. President Vladimir Putin stated last month that Russia has already earned double the amount of the gold and foreign exchange reserves frozen by the West last year, which is, well, quite correct, isn't it? At this point, Russian reserves are 569.6 billion, so even without those frozen assets, Russia does has a quite significant safety cushion, let's say, Russian economy. Speaking at the Eastern Economical Forum in Vladivostok, Putin said that freezing of Russian assets causes an erosion of credibility in the Western countries, which is, yes, also correct. Which is also correct because of these illegal actions of the Western so-called elites. We did see wave of bankruptcies in the banking system in the West because many investors worldwide are withdrawing their funds. We did see a lack of trust or deterioration of reputation of the Western financial and banking system, and process of de-dollarization also. Maybe we can say very same about euro. So Western so-called elites definitely hurt Western economy significantly more than they hurt Russia. Although, of course, for Russian economy, this thousands and thousands of sanctions, of course, also was significant trouble that Russia had to deal with. And this is going to be last news for today's first update. RT is reporting that Russia is planning to take advantage of China's Japanese seafood ban. And, well, Russia's Kamchatka region in the Far East is seeking to fill the void in China's seafood market after Japanese imports were recently banned by Chinese government. That was stated by regional governor of Kamchatka, Vladimir Solodov. And, well, idea is great. Idea is great, and opportunity is there. And Russian companies definitely can fill this void that will emerge undoubtedly because of this ban by Chinese government on Japanese companies to export any product, seafood product into China. And this is related, these bans, by the way, are related to fact that operator of Fukushima nuclear power plant began dumping water, allegedly clean water, from reservoirs on the Fukushima power plant, nuclear power plant area. That water was used to cool down reactors, damaged reactors, as I understand. And Tokyo is saying that water is safe, but I mean, do you believe it? I don't. And it seems like Chinese government also don't believe. Russian government don't believe, because Russia also banned seafood import from Japan. And I don't know about the government of South Korea. Maybe for some political reason they are not as direct as Chinese and Russian governments, but probably they will also be forced to at least put up some strict restrictions, serious restrictions for Japanese seafood products for safety reason. It's nothing to do with politics. It everything to do with safety. And this is gonna be last news for today's update. Quite a long update, by the way, but plenty of news, and hopefully you will find this update interesting. And if so, please click that like button and leave some commentary just about anything. More likes and comments probably will increase my chances to reach wider audience. And for very same reason, if you can, please help me with to reach wider audience by by sharing videos, sharing links to my videos or my channel with your friends on any of the platforms that you are active on, Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, or any other. And finally, if you think this project with several channels on YouTube, Rumble, Telegram is useful, interesting, informative, and deserves to exist, please consider to support with small donations through PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. You can see links under this video in the description box or in the pinned comment. This is it for now. Have a great day and take care.